Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to this channel. This is Rise with Gladys Muthoni. This is a place where we learn, we practice, and we grow. Karibuni sana. We are on a series that God speaks to us through nature, and we are looking at different animals that are used in the Bible that God used to teach us lessons and to help us with the way of living. And we have looked at some animals. If you've not checked out our videos, there are 3 videos about the sheep. We have one about the deer, and we also have another one about the ants. So, and today we are going to the next animal, and this animal is the serpent. The serpent, in other words, we can call it the snake. And many people associate the snake with evil. And it's true, sometimes in the Bible it has been used for evil occurrences, like when the snake lied to Eve. It was an imagery for the devil. So, but now today, Jesus, who is the creator of everything in the world was created through Jesus Christ. And he being the creator, then he knows every basics about every creation. And he chooses to use this animal, the serpent, to teach a very, very important thing. And I will read the Bible from Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. And this is what it says. I'm sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Wow, this was when Jesus was sending out his 12 disciples to go and evangelize or teach the gospel and look for followers. And he's saying that I'm sending you like sheep among wolves. We have done a video on sheep, and we saw that we as Christians, the followers of Jesus Christ, are called sheep. And now Jesus being the good shepherd, he's the good shepherd, and he's sending the sheep among the wolves. That's a very dangerous situation. If you send sheep where wolves are, if you look at those communities where they are shepherds, they will do everything to separate the sheep from the wolves, build structures, be on the watch out to separate sheep from the wolves. Because when sheep are mixed with wolves, then it's almost a 0% of survival for the sheep. So Jesus is sending his sheep to the world, and the world is like wolves. It means the people of the world are ready to devour these disciples that he's sending. But because he is aware of that, then he teaches them how can they survive these wolves. Apart from them being sheep, how do they cope? How do they cope with the wolves? And this is what he says. Be as wise as the serpent. Be as shrewd. Shrewd is also wise. And so, what is it about the serpent so that it is considered wise? One of the characteristics of the snake, when it walks into a new environment, it walks into that environment quietly. Like it will move into that place quietly, look for a place where it can hide or camouflage, look for a surrounding that looks like it and camouflage there. You would even pass there and not notice the snake is there. So it will take time, hide there. It even fits in spaces that are small. Like if it's in a house, it will look for a hole and squeeze itself in. Like maybe it's a floor, it can squeeze itself under that floor. You wouldn't even know it's there, and it's going to stay there. Then it watches the prey. It doesn't just attack, just announce I have arrived. For other animals, they would announce, I've arrived by giving sounds and shouting. It is quiet. Then it watches the prey. A snake can study a prey for even 10 hours. It will stay there, look at maybe if it's a bird, and look at the bird. That's how the bird flies. When it flies, what happens? Where does it land? After landing, what does it do? What time does it take to come back? It will study the bird, or study that prey that it wants to feed on. Study it. And then after it feels now it's on a good ground, it attacks. And it attacks, that means when it attacks, it cannot miss that prey. Some of the snakes will just throw venom on the prey, and as it has thrown venom, it will not even need to kill you. You will just die from that venom Then after you're dead, it will come and swallow you up, and it makes sure that it has swallowed you up at a place where it can still hide and wait for that thing that it has swallowed to be digested. So, and it doesn't eat like the other animals. You know, the other animals, like all the other things we know, like the wolves, the lions, they will eat. There will be traces of blood over there. There will be traces of bones. So you can be able to trace that this person was eaten here. For a snake, it will swallow the person in whole or the prey in whole. You will not even be able to trace whether the snake swallowed anything. It will digest. It won't remain any bones or anything. So that is the strategy that the snake uses. And now, when Jesus is saying to be shrewd as a snake, it means that when these disciples are walking to this new environment, they need to be wise. You need to learn the environment. What kind of people are in this environment? What language do they speak? What culture do they? What culture do they practice? How is their way of life? And when you're able to do that, then it would be hard. It will become easier for them to reach those people, and they would become more effective. Their environments, even as Christians, as we reach out to others, their environments you can't just walk in and begin shouting. You know, if you do that, you may even die. You're putting your life at risk. You have to be slow and learn the environment. What is it that these people believe in? What is their language? You know, how do they treat people who are not of their faith? And you learn. And this lesson is not only applicable to when you're reaching out, it's even applicable to different spheres of life. You know, you get, maybe for us ladies or even the men, you get married to someone, you can't just walk into their family and begin to bring new rules or bring new dictates as you think. You have to stay there and learn the people. How are they? You know, how do they celebrate their occasions? You know, how do they treat this and this? You learn. You take time to learn. Also, even in our workplaces. I listened to a story. Someone was telling me a certain lady got a job in these lucrative companies, very big companies. And you know, for you to get a job in those big companies, it's usually a series of interviews, So to get a job in such companies is a very good opportunity, and it's a very big win for anybody who would get a job in those companies. And so this lady gets a job in one of these big companies. But within the first week, when she got to the job, the first week, of course, we are expecting its orientation going on. When she's in the job the first week, she noticed that there are fishy deals going on. But the problem is she didn't even take time. Like, let's say there are three hierarchies. You know, it's, of course, in every workplace it's a hierarchy. And she noticed that these people who are at her level are having fishy deals. But she didn't take time to study, you know, how does this go? What do they do? She immediately went to report to the manager. These guys are having a fish deals. No, the problem was the manager whom she went to report to was also part of the deal. In fact, that manager was the initiator of the deal. So what do you think happened? Of course, she lost her job. After having invested a lot to get the interviews, and having passed those interviews, she lost it. Was it wrong that she's a Christian and does not support fishy deals? No, that's true. She's a Christian and she doesn't support fishy deals. What the problem was is that she did not take time to study, you know, who is the initiator of this deal, how are these deals happening, and was she effective? No, of course those people continued with the deals. But maybe if she would have taken time, you know, to just learn, you know, what happens really, what's the root, what's the nini, maybe she should have had another effective method to make sure that this deal stops. So it is very important that when we walk into new environments, we take time to study those environments. Even the things we want, you know, don't be too hasty. When you make a decision in haste, so much in haste, you're likely to make a mistake. You know, take time to study. Take time to study, you know, which risks are involved. We don't just wake up and jump into something. you study it. You know what are the challenges, what are the skills that are needed in this sphere. And there's something called beholding. I was learning the other day. Even as we want things, we have visions. Behold, look at it. Look at it in this angle. Look at it in this other angle. Where do I need to improve so that if this kind of growth comes to me, I am able to handle it, so that it doesn't come and it pulls me down. So it's very, 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 very important for us to learn our environment. And in this learning our environment, you see the snake camouflage. As we walk into new environments, we need to by camouflaging, it means to learn how to fit in that environment. What language? If it's a new industry, I listen to Dr. Sidhu, and she teaches that if every industry has a language. In my profession, you may listen to me speaking to my colleague and you may not understand some things because there is a language with my profession. If you go to a medic, there is a language for medics, there is a language for engineers, there is a language for lawyers. If you sit with lawyers, sometimes you will not be understanding what they are saying because they are using some terms that are not common to you. So as you walk into different spheres, then you need to learn the language for that sphere. And sometimes it's a real language, like you go to another country and you have to learn the language in that country so that you can fit in, be able to learn how do these people behave. You just don't walk there and you're already giving your opinions, you've not learned anything, you've not taken your time. And as I was studying this, I listened to a sermon by Joshua Selman, and he was telling about his friend, that one day they were traveling together with his friends, and they were in the same vehicle. They were with people of another faith. Then this friend of his is a sheep. Sheep I mean he's a Christian, but he was not as shrewd. So what he did, he stood and started preaching and started cursing the faith of these other guys, saying what you're doing is not right. Cursed them, spoke evil things. And Joshua Selman was sitting at the edge of the seat, wondering, now what's going to happen? And as he ends that sermon, he says that day their life was at risk because those guys actually wanted to kill them because of the things this one person who was a true Christian but had not acted with wisdom had behaved. So it's very, very important for us to be shrewd and to act with wisdom. And as Jesus said this, a big part of Jesus' ministry, he used wisdom to deal with those people who are his enemies, the Pharisees, the Sadducees. And we can see one such occasion in Mark chapter 12, verse 13 to 17. This was when Jesus was answering about the tax. The Pharisees came to test him. Most of the times when the Pharisees came to Jesus, they were not coming to learn, they were coming to test him so that they can have something to say against him. So they came and asked him, do you think it's good that we should pay taxes? And Jesus was very wise and very shrewd. What he did, he took the coin and asked them, whose face is there? They told him it's Caesar's face. Okay, if it's Caesar's face, you go and give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And that's it's left open for you to answer. He's not given his own opinion. He has left you to even think and digest. So we are encouraged to be very shrewd. And another example of someone who was also very shrewd was Paul. As he was doing his ministry, Paul faced so many challenges. People were not accepting the gospel. There are those who were fighting against him, the Jews, the Pharisees. And many occasions we see, like in Acts chapter 23, this is one, Paul was in Jerusalem, and after he had preached, the guys were like, what you are saying, you deserve to be in prison. And so he's put in prison, and on this day he's brought before the Sanhedrin to answer his case. And they asked him to answer. And Paul determined, he learned his environment, and he looked and saw in this Sanhedrin, they are both Pharisees and Sadducees. Pharisees always believed in life after death. Sadducees did not believe in life after death. So Paul had been put into this prison because of preaching Jesus Christ. But did he say he didn't say, I've been put in this prison because of preaching Jesus Christ. Because if he would have said, I've been put in this prison for preaching Jesus Christ, that would have been a common ground for both Pharisees and Sadducees, because both of them were against the gospel. So he was very shrewd. And what he said, he determined that these people have two differences. So I'm going to take advantage of this difference. And what did he say? Then it is in chapter 23, verse 6. Then Paul, knowing that some of them were Sadducees and others were Pharisees, called out in the Sanhedrin, my brothers, I am a Pharisee. Actually, Paul was a Pharisee. He was a teacher of the law. He had learned under the best teacher, whose name was Gamaliel. So I'm a Pharisee, descended from Pharisees. I stand on trial because of the hope of the resurrection of the dead. Did Paul lie? No. He had hope of the resurrection of the dead through eternal life. And he used that point of difference so that now the Pharisees and the Sadducees disagreed among themselves, and Paul found a chance to be set free. So we are encouraged to be very shrewd. And for us to be very shrewd, it means we have to put our minds under learning, so that even when you're not expecting a promotion just because you are a Christian, you have to be excellent. As I was learning this, I learned you can't be just saying, I'm a Christian. Of course, it is true that God will favor us, but you need skill. Even when God was putting people like Bezalel, he said he was excellent. He was a man with excellent skill. So you need to be wise. You need to expose your mind to grow, so that you are able to handle different environments. Can you be able to sit with someone and have a conversation? Or you don't have anything to say. You don't have any knowledge. You're not aware of the news. You're not aware of what happens, the basic things that happen in different fields. You're not aware. You don't have any wisdom. It is the information that translates to knowledge, and then knowledge, when it's practiced, it translates to wisdom. So if you are not exposing your mind to learning and exposing your mind to gaining wisdom, the book of Proverbs tells us, in all you're getting, get wisdom and understanding. So make sure you get wisdom and understanding, so that you are able to become more effective in different fields, in the marketplace, in the church, when you are out in the field evangelizing and preaching the gospel, when God puts you in governance, in different fields that God will put you, that will be shrewd as the snake and as innocent as the dove. So this is a balance point. We are not only shrewd as the snake. If you are shrewd and you don't have the holiness of God, you can use the wisdom in the wrong way. But now Jesus even brought a balance, that you're shrewd as the snake and innocent as the dove. So there is a balance. You are not only a sheep and very gullible. You can be lied to. You can't defend yourself with the wisdom. The innocence of the dove is meant to protect others, so that with the wisdom you have, you don't harm others. And the shrewdness of the snake is meant to protect you, so that when the wolves come to you, you have the wisdom of a snake of how you can escape. So that is it for today. Until next time, bye-bye.